Hi folks, and welcome to week 5 part 2, where we're going to take a closer look at the game of squares. Before you, as you remember from the last video, you have our sort of basic representation of the battlefield, with the river Manas running through here, the town of Manas and the all-important bridge, the main road running north, and some woodlands and various other bits and pieces. I've also set up now the French Second Corps. These are all blank blocks, which are all numbered blocks, and some may be real brigades, others may be false brigades. I've also set up in the foreground here my Prussian units, 3 divisions of Prussian infantry, 2 brigades of Prussian cavalry, and an attached Austrian cavalry brigade as well. The main orders for the Prussians for the coming battle is to obviously move north and remove the French from that town. The 2 Prussian cavalry are going to be moving here, doing some scouting, working out what's the best way to go and attack the town. The Austrian cavalry are going to be going over this direction and to try and find a way of getting over the river and swinging around onto the French flank and blocking their line of retreat, or at least making it more difficult for them to retreat. The way the game works is card driven. Each of the enemy force blocks will have a numbered card corresponding to the block, and each of the my Prussians and Austrians will have a card representing the counter they have. There's also a joker in the pack. When this card is drawn, the turn ends immediately and you move on to the next turn. So we'll give the cards a bit of a shovel best I can and shuffle them about a bit. And the way the game works basically is it's once the card is drawn, the block or counter moves and then observes. Each of the blocks or counters only moves a square at a time. It's for all types, infantry or cavalry. It just makes things simpler. And so we'll draw a card, see what happens. Oh, there you go. DP, it's my Prussian. No, it's not, sorry. It's my Prussian cavalry. So we'll move them forward. They can only move 1 square forward. And then they get a chance to observe. And the way that works is I use this gridded area, marked area, and what you do is that's my position at the moment. It's 1 2 3 4 5 across, 1 2 3 4 5 across. So you look up, straight up, A B B C D C D D. This means basically no observation. And what do you do is say I see someone in that square there, C. Left hand side is for good weather, right hand side letter is for bad weather, but say someone's in C block, it means enemy is observed but no other information known. So what you do is you place the blank brigade base on the battlefield, so you know that say I'm looking at these guys, you know that that is actually an enemy counter. It's not a false counter, it's not a group of sheep or locals wandering around aimlessly, but you don't know what exactly it is made up of. Say for instance they are here and unit they're observing is in AA, it basically means complete information of the nationality, type of brigade and numbers. Action is you place a counter of that type on the board, and what that basically means is I replace the blank counter with an infantry brigade shelling me, and I can tell the opposition player what that brigade is made up of. If I was playing someone else in the game, I'm playing this one solo, if I was playing someone else, we would both have blank counters on both sides, obviously not showing each other what the number is, which corresponds to the army list, a bit like the old Stratego game. That pretty much is it. From at the end of the 6th full turn, as in everyone's had a go, or the dreaded end of turn card has been turned, at the end of the 6th turn, the defending side can decide to force a battle, which basically means the battle starts from there. But the conditions are there must be at least 3 enemy observed counters within a square of your front line. So this is the enemy's front line. They would have to have at least 3 of the enemy here, and then the battle can be called, and we'll look at that a bit closer when it happens. So let's have a bit of a shuffle again, and we'll do a couple of turns, or at least one turn, because there's quite a lot of counters to move around, and to give you a flavour of how the game works. So AA is the Austrians, funny enough. So they're going to move 1 square forward. A quick look at the observation chart. It gives them a reading of AA straight ahead, AA again straight ahead, BC, BC. So it's good weather, so that's a B. So on the chart, type of brigade is known but little else. Action is place a brigade type counter on the table, on the battle board. 1 is indeed an enemy, and it's the infantry, a French infantry brigade. So what we do is we'll stick a French infantry brigade in that area, and what that's basically saying is that this area is definitely occupied by the enemy, so that's the first obstacle to contend with. And we'll have a look at AP, that's my Prussian infantry brigade. They're going to move up forward. They're also going to observe, obviously see there's something in there. They're going to see if they can find out what that is. If we look at the chart again, oh sorry, wrong one. If we look at the chart again, we'll see that that is straight up from this line here, AA, AA, BC. So again, we will know that that again is a enemy unit, and once again, it is more French. So there are at least 2 French brigades in that area. That's definitely going to be all my guys. Didn't shuffle it very well, did I? And once again, we'll move those across. They're pretty much observed, although it would be handy to have a look and see what that is. So we'll put it again. Wrong bit of paper. So that's AA, AA again, AB, and if you move across from that point, 1, 2, 3, it's BC. And we're looking across at that counter there. The chart I've got over on the just outside of camera shot, that is actually a blank. There's nobody there, so we can remove that off the table. So at present we're looking at some French infantry in the town directly ahead. So card, and it's enemy number 9. Over here they're not going to do anything, they're going to just purely observe as it's too far away. We'll pull the other card. Oh, enemy number 8, which has already been removed from the table. Enemy number 4. Enemy number 4 is here. They're going to move to 1 square and observe, but I believe they are too far. So excuse me. Let's see. No, they can actually make out the enemy, but we know that my guys are here anyway. As you imagine, if there was 2 players, I would have to declare that that's an infantry moving towards them. Enemy card number 7. Over here, they're just going to sit there and watch the game unfold. CP, which is my Prussians, going to move up. Enemy card number 2 is right over here. they're just going to hang around, wait for a DP. Is my Prussian cavalry. Again, we're going to look up across the board and see if there's anything happening. This county is too far away. We know what's going on here. They actually see an enemy over there as well, and they actually are artillery, which I haven't got my artillery bases with me, so I'll just have to put that one there, I'm afraid. You'll have to use your imagination. That one's artillery, I'll show you. And it's all... Oh, there we go. The dreaded end of turn. So what that basically means that turn 1 has been done. I'll pause the camera here quick. I'll play a few more turns and I'll come back to you. Hi folks, we're back again, and this is the tail end of turn 4. As you can see, the Prussians are pretty much moving up, the Austrians are moving across. Block number 10, which is over in this corner, was another false alarm, and the artillery cunningly disguised as some French cavalry. So we have also observed there's a French infantry unit here just on the other side of the river. At the moment we're not sure what these are, possibly more French brigades. So I'll come back to you very shortly. Folks, back again. This is the point of turn 5, and as you can see, the Austrians are now appearing, and the Prussians are pretty much closing in on this French position here. We're going to be looking at pretty much ending this at this point, because I think the defending side is going to call a battle, and the way we do that is we decide the center point of where the defending army is, which is the bridge, and we take each one of these squares as a foot square on the wargaming table. So you can imagine I play on a 3 foot by 6 foot table for my 6mm. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the table will be, oops, sorry about that, it's a minor earthquake on the camera there. And so the battle will pretty much take up this area. Sorry, a 4 by 3, a 4 foot by 6 table, not a 6 foot. Not a 6 foot by 4, not a 3 foot by 6 table. And so So you've got 4 foot by 6 foot. This incorporates most of the French units as well, if there are French units in there. And but as you can tell, most of the actual Prussian and Austrians are not actually on the table yet, which would mean that these guys will be appearing during the battle. The way we work this out is that for 2 turns on the battle table is the equivalent of 1 turn on the battle board table, or the game of squares board, I should say. So in turn 2, sorry, into beginning of turn 3, these guys will appear. Beginning of turn 4, these guys will appear, and at beginning of turn 5, these guys will appear. So it's a progressive battle. So the actual battle itself will take up this area here, and as you can tell, there are two Prussian brigades. There are 1, 2, 3 French brigades of infantry. There's their reserve artillery, and just off their table themselves, they have their French dragoons, and again, and just on the table, I say, are 2 further brigades of French cavalry, brigades of French infantry, and possibly someone else as well here. So the whole battle itself evolves as the game progresses. The reason I do this is just something I tried out once many years ago, and it just gave a lot more flavour to the battle. Instead of just lining your figures up and just playing the battle, me and a friend used to do this quite often, where we would do a pre-battle one weekend just like this, using something very similar to this, although it was drawn on cardboard, and then we would fight the battle the next day. It just gave it a little bit of a little bit more fun to the game. Even just one-off stand-up battles, it was much more fun to play it this way. So I hope you've enjoyed looking at the way that I play the game of squares. As always, thanks very much for taking the time to watch, and as always, again, if there's any questions or anything else you'd like me to answer, if I haven't explained things clearly, please leave something in the comment and I will get back to you. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye for now.